If you look at the history of warfare, you see battles defined by strategy, technology, and sheer numbers. You have the Battle of Stalingrad, D-Day, in Waterloo. But in 1932, the Australian military engaged in a conflict that defies all logic. It wasn't against an invading army, insurgents, or even a rival nation. It was against birds. This isn't slang term or a metaphor. The Royal Australian Artillery deployed a major, a sergeant, and a gunner with heavy Lewis machine guns and thousands of rounds of ammunition to Western Australia to kill 20,000 emus. On paper, it was a massacre waiting to happen, modern automatic weapons against flightless birds. But when the dust settled and the ammunition ran dry, the Australian government was forced to admit a humiliating defeat. The birds didn't just survive, they won. To understand how a developed nation declares war on wildlife, you have to look at the Great Depression. In 1932, Western Australia was struggling. The farmers in the Campion district were mostly veterans of World War I, hardened soldiers who had been given land grants by the government. They were trying to grow wheat, but prices had crashed, and they were desperate. Then came the migration. 20,000 emus, moving from the inland towards the coast for breeding season, discovered the farmlands. To an emu, a wheat farm is just an all-you-can-eat buffet with convenient water supplies. They broke through fences, trampled crops, and let rabbits in through the holes they created. The farmers didn't ask for agricultural subsidies. They reverted to their military training. They petitioned the Minister of Defense, Sir George Pearce, for machine guns. Pearce, thinking this would be good target practice and a morale booster, agreed. He sent Major G.P.W. Meredith of the 7th Heavy Battery. They thought it would be over in a week. The war began on November 2nd, 1932. The military located a group of about 50 emus. The soldiers got into position, leveled their machine guns, and fired open fire. They expected the birds to huddle together in panic. Instead, the emus executed what looked like a pre-planned tactical scatter. They split into small groups and ran in every direction at speeds up to 30 miles per hour. The heavy machine guns couldn't traverse fast enough to track them. Out of 50 birds, they killed maybe a dozen. 2 days later, Major Meredith tried an ambush. He set up near a dam where 1,000 emus were heading for water. It was the perfect kill zone. He waited until the birds were point-blank range. He gave the order to fire. The gun fired 12 rounds and then jammed. The birds saw the threat and vanished into the bush. As the initial campaign continued, the soldiers began to respect the enemy. The emus seemed to have leaders, tall birds that would stand watch while others ate, warning the flock of the approaching truck. Major Meredith was quoted in the papers saying, "If we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world. They were tanks on legs." After the first campaign in early November, the operation was withdrawn. The confirmed kill count was embarrassingly low. Estimates ranged from 50 to a few hundred for thousands of rounds of ammunition spent.
The Great Emu War became a media sensation, but for all the wrong reasons. Parliament discussed it, the press mocked it, but the story didn't end there. Major Meredith was asked to return for a second campaign, starting in mid-November, and this time the operation was more successful, still costly in ammunition relative to results. While the story is funny, it highlights a serious ecological lesson. Man versus nature is rarely a straight fight. The military solution failed because it assumed the enemy would play by the rules of trench warfare. The emus fought a guerrilla war. They used the terrain, they used speed, and they refused to mass in formation. Interestingly, the farmers eventually won, but not with machine guns. The government shifted to a bounty system, offering cash for every emu beak turned in. Without the clumsy military involvement, local hunters and farmers proved far more effective at controlling the emu population. Capitalism worked where the artillery failed, but the legacy remains. Australia is the only country in history to officially lose a war to its own national bird. The Great Emu War stands as a monument to government overreaction. It proves that you can have the best technology in the world, but if you don't understand your enemy, even if that enemy has a brain the size of a walnut, you can still lose. But what do you think? Was this just a funny historical footnote or a warning about the futility of trying to conquer nature with brute force? Let me know in the comments. And make sure you are subscribed for the next video, because we are moving from failed wars to failed real estate deals. We are going to look at the time the United States tried to buy the world's largest island, not once, but multiple times, all the way up to Donald Trump. You won't want to miss the story of buying Greenland.